This is going to be a car video. It's late night, and I'm just sitting here thinking about different stuff, you know. So the title of my video is, well, first of all, I want to start by saying I'm the greatest manifestation coach on YouTube. So there's that, right? And so I want to talk about manifestation exhaustion, right? What is that? Now, you know what it is. It's when you feel like I keep manifesting, it's not happening. Or I keep affirming and it's not happening. Or I'll see a little movement, but I'm not getting the exact movement I want. So I'm getting frustrated and I'm ready to quit with my manifestation, right? Manifestation exhaustion. Like, I've been there, I go there, I get there. Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, I get there. It gets, sometimes I've got to a point where I feel like I'm done with like whatever the specific manifestation is. I'll be like, hey girl, oh. Kristen, you know I love you. So sometimes I'll get to the point where I feel like I'm just done with this manifestation, or I'm done with whatever it is, because I know we're not supposed to control, we know that we're not supposed to try to control our manifestation, but we still know how we want it to play out. We still know how we want to feel. We still know what we want people to do for us, or how we want money to show up for us, or the things that we want, right? And then sometimes, like, in our midst of wanting it to unfold exactly how we want it or whatever, we might miss out on, oh, thank you. We might miss out on, because sometimes the universe has a better way of making things unfold for us, right? But with that being said, what do I do when I'm experiencing manifestation exhaustion? Because I had that lately, right? If you noticed, I kind of slowed down on my videos because I knew I was starting to get exhausted, right? And I didn't want to get on here and like just put all that on y'all until I had really worked through what I was going through, why am I feeling exhaustion, da da da. And so it did kind of boil down to, my specific person was showing up for me, but he wasn't showing up exactly the way I wanted to, right? And it even got to a point where I just said to myself, okay, fuck it. I'm going to just do what I want to do. I'm not going to just focus on one person. And then I kind of like made, now I call it like SP number two kind of appeared, right? And so I kind of been like just in this weird in between space or whatever. But but I also feel like it's cool because I feel like I kind of almost like let go of SP number one. Like, I seen him the other day and he was flirting with me and trying to make me laugh and all the stuff he do. But like, it just feel like my feelings wasn't into it no more. And I don't want to say like it's because he didn't show up how I wanted, or he didn't show up fast enough, right? Because he was showing up. Like I said, I met his granddaughter, like all type of stuff. Like, I had the most movement recently with my SP1, but as things kept progressing, I was just like, okay, is this really what I want? But I go through this. Like, sometimes you're gonna manifest and you're gonna just stick to your one person, and that's cool. But I personally, I go through this. Like, I guess it's me affirming it by saying it, but I change SPs. But this last SP was different because I did stick it all the way out until I just seen him totally like do a 360, and I'll give him that, right? But now it's like, what I want change. What I want is different. The rules I'm making for myself are changed, and like, it's the summertime and I'm out with my friends, or I'm out and I want to have fun. I want to do what I want to do, right? I want to do what I want to do, and I want to have fun, and I want to be happy. And what I've learned is that you can't wait for your manifestation to be happy, right? You got to be happy on your own. You have to learn what makes you happy. You have to learn your diet, your mental diet that makes you happy. You have to learn that you're going to need to be happy without them. But sometimes I kind of feel like, because I know how to be happy on my own, sometimes it makes me feel like, well, I don't need a mate. I don't need a specific person, right? But sometimes I do see myself like being a little standoffish, because I know that happiness lies within me. I'm not looking for you to make me happy. Like, if I'm happy and we get together and we have fun, great. But so I don't know if it's a double edged sword, the factor that I don't feel like I need to be with you to be happy, and I'm still happy on my own. And whether I hear from you or not, I'm happy, right? I'm maneuvering, I'm doing things. So with that being said, SP number two, right? So I got a second SP now, y'all. Okay, this channel, hey, I'm lit on this channel. This is what I do. So SP number two, right? I'm gonna tell y'all this. SP number two came in showing up how I wanted, right? But I kind of like pushed him off, if that makes sense. Like, you know how you push the guy off, right? And so, and then I changed my mind. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give him a shot to really be, for show me what he about. And then when I kind of like talked to him about that, he was like, he called me out. He was like, well, you said that you didn't want this and that. And it's funny because I didn't think he was listening to me when I was talking. But then I had to think to myself, like, well, you're chosen. You're the priority. He don't have no choice but to listen. Everything you say, he comprehends. And then I also have this new affirmation where I'm like, I'm able to understand the needs of others. I'm able to understand men's needs, right? Because I always hear a lot of men saying, like, because I do coaching, I always hear men saying like they don't feel appreciated, or they feel like they don't, like, because I have people that actually call me that really need help mentally, or their spouse is sick, or I've had a lot of different clients, right? So I always hear how men say they don't feel appreciated. So I just say on a personal level, I would like to, be able to make a man feel appreciated and hear what he and hear his needs, that, right? But this is just my specific affirmation. Like, everybody ain't got to be in set, and sometimes I'll be selfish and I don't care, right? But for the most part, I do care and I'm open. And so back to what I'm saying. So SP number two had opened up a lot to me, and he was listening a lot to what I was saying. And then it was like when I heard him like saying back to me what I said, I was like, oh yeah, I did have information I've always heard and I've always seen and I'm always chosen. So of course, and so, so it's like they conform and they do what you want, but sometimes too, like what he was saying to me was like old 3D stuff, right? Because since he was parenting back to me what I had said to him, I had changed my mind and decided I want to be with him. I hope y'all can just follow me. But I'm saying, but that's why it's important to, like, sometimes just ignore the 3D, because whatever you thought at the time when you were manifesting something, it still has to play out in your 3D. And so sometimes when you run into that person, they'll still be talking on that old 3D that you're not even on anymore. So I just let him talk, and I kind of just was like, okay, okay, okay. And I didn't really give it no feelings or no meaning, because I wanted to shift out of that. And so that's how I would say you handle the 3D when it's happening. Just let them talk and let them go through it. By the time you see him again, it'll be a cycled out, right? I mean, so I was, like I said, I was experiencing manifestation exhaustion, because I felt like, oh, SP number one ain't doing everything I want, right? But if you're thinking like that, then of course they don't. Like, he was showing up, he was doing what I want, he was doing what I wanted, but it wasn't like, basically, I want him to marry me. I want him to, like, marry me, propose to me, right? And like, okay, I mean, I don't got time to wait. So in the midst of him doing whatever he needs to do, move around in his 3D to give me what I want, I just started doing something else. Like, I'm not gonna limit myself to one reality or one way of things being, or da da. And then in the midst of all that, I always tell y'all about my original SP. And my original SP is the guy that we used to date, and we stopped dating. Then the shutdown happened, so I didn't see him for a few years. And then when I finally seen him again, I was like, oh, I still like him. So that was, but I knew about manifestation by this point. So I always say my original SP is the first guy that I was back into when I figured out what manifestation was. And so I had this, so I don't want my original SP, not like then, like, I don't feel that way about him anymore, but I had this affirmation that me and him are best friends. And it's so funny, this is all tying into this manifestation, right? It's so funny because recently, maybe about the last 6 months, 6 or 7 months, I started playing pool, right? And so everybody, like, kind of gives me tips and tell me how to play and da da da. And so recently, the other day, my original SP ended up coming over, and he was like, hey, do you want to play pool? And I'm like, yeah. And it was just so weird. And then he was like, just showing me how to play, showing me different techniques, right? And as he was showing me that, mind you, I don't like original SP no more. Okay, I'm over him. Please, I'm over him. I do. I have a lot of Sagittarius. I have a lot of Sagittarius in my chart. I have a lot of Sagittarius in my chart. But anyway, so he's giving me tips of, and as he was giving me tips when we were playing pool, I was like, oh yeah, I did affirm he my best friend. So of course a best friend is gonna help you play better, right? It's gonna show you moves to help you win the game. Like, duh, like, this is my original SP conforming to what I said he would be. And so, you always are creating the future you want. You're always creating what you want to happen, and your manifestations always come true. So even with, like, how I have two SPs now, right? Even with the first SP I have seen like, him introducing me to his granddaughter was a big thing, because it was like, okay, I'm permanent in his life, and he want me to meet his family. And plus I have this affirmation that all his family loves me. So now I've met his granddaughter, and I've met his niece, and I met, who else? I met a few of his family members. So just like, so I know that he's serious, about having me around and stuff, right? But now, as I get more of what I want, what I want is changing, and what I want to deal with is changing, and how I see myself is changing, right? And like, so back to the exhaustion. So when I was feeling exhaustion was when I just felt like I started creating a timeline for how I thought that things should go, instead of just enjoying the ride, enjoying how things can be, saying what I want and letting it unfold for me. Whenever I try to control what's going on in 3D instead of create what's going on in 3D, I experience exhaustion. What do I mean by exhaustion? I wake up feeling like, oh, this mother ain't doing what I want. Or I'll lay down at night and I'll cry. Like, like crying is a way to water your soul. Or, tears are a release. Y'all know what I'm saying. But like, that to me is exhaustion. I know, because I won't, it's like I'll be grasping to get back to my happiness. And that's when I say manifestation exhaustion. But you got to remember, your happiness does not lie within the person or the money. Happiness is a feeling that you create within yourself. Happiness is a vision that you have for yourself. And whether that person shows up right then or not, happiness is something that you still should have because you created within. And so when it gets to a point where I'm like, well, this SP ain't doing this or this person ain't doing that, then I just go back to me and I revert back to, what is happiness? What makes you happy? I'll ask myself, like, so karma, you need this person to be happy? And I'll be like, no, I know I don't. I know that happiness is something I create from within. And then it'll like pull me out of feeling like I'm exhausted. It'll pull me out of feeling like I'm about to be depressed, because that feeling, the happiness that you're seeking or the love that you're seeking it's not coming from nobody else. It all starts from within us. Remember, we create our reality and we create what we experience. So sometimes I feel like I'm too independent when it comes to manifestation. I'm patient. I can wait for my specific person to show up. I can wait for my $1,000,000 to show up. Or I can just let go of when it's going to show up and looking forward to show up and how it's going to show up, and just enjoy life right now while it's happening. Enjoy the people around me who are doing what I want for me right now while it's happening. Enjoying all the good things that are unfolding for me right now. Right now, because right now is really what we have. Even this moment right now has been created. And it's where we start. And it's where we start from. I'm sorry, y'all. There's a lot going on right now. So look, I'm gonna just tell y'all this. If you feel exhausted with manifestation, then cut off whatever you manifested and revert back to finding your place of happiness. That's how I always pull myself out of anxiety. That's how I pull myself out of feeling like it's not here yet, or because sometimes when your manifestation ain't here right now, or sometimes when your manifestation ain't like, oh, it's not here right now in front of my face, you feel like you failing. You feel like it's not gonna happen. You feel like you're not creating. You feel like you just living and life happening to you, but it's all working in your favor. Everything you do is working in your favor. Everything you're going through is working in your favor. The people you meet are working in your favor. So the flat tire that you had on the way to work, it still was working in your favor. You need to make this stuff all meaning working in your favor, so that you can understand how to be happy no matter what is going on in the 3D. How to look at the 3D, ignore it, and still keep your happiness, okay? I just want to say that if you experience an exhaustion, don't worry. This too shall pass. It's just a stage. You'll get over it. You'll find your happiness again, and things are going to be okay, okay? I just want to say it to y'all. I got to go because it's all going on right now, okay? But I love y'all.